Hi, I'm Deborah, and this week I've been thinking a lot about kindness and where has the kindness gone? When I was young, yes, back in the dark ages, my teachers all seemed to have the same classroom model put up on the wall, which was do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Teachers, parents, and even the community itself were trying to teach us the value and importance of kindness. Was there still bullying? Yes. But there was also an expectation of how we should instead treat each other. And we heard about it from our teachers and parents if we were seen to be mean or disrespectful or unkind to others. Over the years, I witnessed the gradual change in how some viewed our responsibilities to others. As I was a high school teacher, I could impact the environment in my classroom as I wandered the halls or even as I fulfilled my supervisory duties. Outside the classroom, I could control or impact my own interactions with others. But it became very apparent that there had been a cultural shift from concern for others to concern about self. I was at an HOA meeting one time in my former community in which the participants were very angry. They were name calling each other, they were yelling at each other. It was very chaotic and the tension was very thick. Many of us just sat there, including two of the pastors from the church of which I was attending at the time, just sat there kind of in disbelief from what was going on. But we also were sitting there from inaction. I finally took the floor, stood up, and reminded all the participants that we could disagree with each other, but we should still be kind and respectful towards everyone, even if we disagreed with them. The name calling and yelling that people were conducting would only further divide the opposing viewpoints and that the more one yelled at someone, the less that person actually listened to them and the less they would even consider that viewpoint. Everyone immediately became more respectful, most likely because they were shocked that someone would speak out against the disrespect and the unkindness being conducted and remind them that they knew as adults how to treat others. In the political culture we are experiencing, peoples on both sides of our political spectrum have resorted to name calling and personal accusations rather than considered political discussion. Many people are unwilling to consider a different or opposing viewpoint. And instead of listening to differing perspectives, they resort to name calling and accusations in order to distract from rational discussion and debates in order to focus away from issues and onto the persons trying to have a political discourse. In recent weeks, many politicians who have lost their primary elections are blaming those who did not vote for them, and in many instances are labeling them as stupid, idiots, famously from the past, deplorables, and quite often during the last few years as losers. And yet, those same politicians are dependent upon those same voters to win elected office and would not have been in elected office had they not had the support of those voters. The shifting of blame for political losses coincides with more and more politicians seeking political power in order to pursue their own political goals and agendas rather than representing their constituents. Congress was created as a two-house party, as a two-house body, one of which is the House of Representatives, which was specifically to represent the voters of a designated district, their interests, their goals, their hardships. The U.S. Senate was then to represent the state's interests. Compromise would then be necessary in order to represent both the interests of the people and the interests of the states. Now we are watching the transition to members of both chambers representing their personal beliefs rather than those of the people and states they were elected to represent. As I watch these changes and observe the bitterness and nastiness that so many who hold political power demonstrate towards those with whom they disagree, I wonder what has happened to kindness and treating people with kindness and respect. If the political and cultural leaders of our nation don't treat others with kindness, how can we survive? We read every day or watch through various medias people attacking and killing others without regard. How can we survive? And then I read and hear about those unacknowledged strangers who help others. Whether it is the flooding in Kentucky or after a violent act focusing on an innocent victim, there are people who rush to help without consideration for their own personal safety. Drowning, shark attacks, fires, natural disasters, car accidents, attacks on individuals or groups. There are those who extend themselves to help and save. Oftentimes, these same people are ridiculed and blasted by others because of political or cultural disagreements. And oftentimes, these individuals suffer injuries or even death because they were willing to exert help and kindness towards others, even those they did not personally know. To be truly kind is more than helping one's own family and friends. It's helping those with whom we disagree or don't even know. It may be words of encouragement or even just a simple greeting. It may be a great heroic act of sacrifice, but it definitely is going beyond our own interests to help others. To, in fact, do unto others as we would have them do unto us. For those of us who believe in God, we are called to be kind. The famous love chapter of 1 Corinthians 13 reminds us that love is patient and love is kind. Ephesians 4:31 to 32 provides a deeper insight to kindness, not just out of an act of love. And it states, get rid of the bitterness, rage, and anger, brawling and slander, along with every form of malice. Be kind and compassionate to one another, forgiving each other, just as in Christ God forgave you. Is kindness easy? No. It is especially hard to be kind towards those with whom we disagree or towards those who have hurt us. But it makes a difference. It may just be small, but it also may just have an impact on those with whom we interact, and even within our own lives, families, and friends. Let's all try to practice a little kindness and see what may happen from there. Thanks so much, and see you next week.